everyone, and welcome back to yet another AGP Creator Podcast. As always, I am your host. I am the one, the only Amanda Gilliam herself. And of course, today we're going to have a lot of fun. Now, this is a guest that has been here many a times. I've absolutely loved and adored meeting her. She's absolutely fabulous, an amazing creator, and almost everything she touches turns to gold. She's just that good. So everybody, please give a warm welcome to the one and the only Madeleine Holly-Rosing. Yay! I'm serious. I think you have the Midas touch. I really do.
Oh, thank you so much. And once again, thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I've been having fun watching your cat, do its thing. I'm backstage. I'm watching the cat doing.
She's just. And of course, now she's got the attention of the dog. So, now the dog moves.
Uh-oh.
What are you?
Uh-oh.
Come here. Come here. I forget. You have to say hi to everybody I get to interview. I forgot.
Oh, there you are.
See, now you're all blurry. See, look what you did to the camera. There you go.
You're so cute, though.
Say hi.
You're so cute.
Then you get shy.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, people are watching. Put me down. Oh no. Oh no.
And now that got blurry, let me fix that camera real quickly. But really, seriously, again, you're on another Kickstarter. Last time we spoke, why is it still so blurry? What is the matter with my camera? Well, I know what's the matter with it. It's from 2012. What do you expect? It doesn't keep up with the technology of 2021. There we go.
There you go. There you go. You got it. You got it there. You got it there. Yeah, it's one of those things, practice makes perfect. But one thing I don't advise is the books for our last Kickstarter came in the week before this one launched. Mm-hmm. So we've been shipping out, we've shipped out over 600 packages, and I don't recommend doing that while running another Kickstarter at the same time. That has not been fun at all. Very stressful, because I like people to, I want to deliver before I launch another Kickstarter. And granted, this is not for a graphic novel, so that's not the same. But still, it's just, the sense. So yeah, all the packages are finally, except for a handful, but everything else is out except for some stragglers for the surveys, which you always get because people forget, right. and whatever. But yeah, I just really wanted to launch the audio drama Kickstarter so it would end before Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving week people are just busy and their heads are elsewhere, and
shopping. They're all shopping.
Yeah, they're shopping and they're traveling, and it's not a time that they're really paying attention to what's happening on, particularly on Kickstarter. They just don't.
It's really hard when people go, well, I'm going to launch, between Thanksgiving or Christmas, something. It's like, that's not really the best idea.
Yeah, the caveat to that would be something that was a holiday oriented and was maybe a short campaign and could deliver.
That might work out really well. Your characters are now having to fight the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future or something. That would work, but
or a fun kids thing that would be appropriate for Christmas gifts or Hanukkah gifts or whatever holiday you celebrate. But yeah, to me, it's kind of tough. I mean, you do see successful campaigns during December, of course. Usually those people already have a strong following. And so they know what they're doing, and that's great.
I got $20 that says that you could do it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't, just because I don't want that stress. I have enough stress in my life. I don't need that.
No, but I still got $20 saying that you could do it. Of course, you were on, and we were talking about your graphic novel. How was the reception on your last Kickstarter? How did everything go with that?
That was our best Kickstarter ever. We literally doubled our previous goal, and we almost made 1,000 backers. We were like 998. That's why I had over 600 packages to send out, and it was just
that's fantastic.
Huge. Prior to that, I'd been doing all the shipping just myself. It'd take me about 2 weeks, but it would all get out. My husband just looked at what the result was and literally double everything. And he says, this is going to take you 2 months. So fortunately, he chipped in, did a beautiful job packaging stuff, and we got it out the door. And I also reconfigured how we ship things. I do learn, from Kickstarter to Kickstarter. I had, for those of you who like the nuances of running a Kickstarter, I had been using a particular type of stay flat, hard, almost cardboard envelope to ship everything out. And I'd been using that for years, and no problem. But then when I did Ghosts and Demons a year and a half ago, basically those shipping envelopes got destroyed. And I don't know. Yes, you have a nice husband. Yes, I do have a very nice husband.
Sure does.
And so I said, I need to rethink the packaging because, there was some, people came and talked to me about how some things arrived. And I said, okay, obviously I need to rethink this whole thing. So I did more research and reconfigured the packaging completely. And everything has been arriving beautiful. And part of that has to do with my pre-planning, making sure the packaging was good. And also my husband is like a super packer. Sometimes I have to say, pull stuff out. No, it's going to be fine. You have enough foam in there. It's like bulging out the sides. She goes, but I don't want it to move. And it's like, it's not going to move, but we need to be able to shut the package. But yeah, he did just a beautiful job because he can crank things out a lot faster than I can. And so that's what we did. And so, yeah, I'm very, it was a little more expensive packaging, but it was absolutely worth it in the long run because everything just arrived in perfect condition. And I was really, I was happy with it. So unless, it gets run over by a truck, which I have no control. That has happened before.
I know, but still, it just the thought.
I mean, in previous Kickstarters, I've had backers send me pictures and they say we know this is not your fault, but I had to show you. Literally, you could see the tire tracks on the envelope. God. You literally could see it. And then whole edges would be ripped apart. And
that's so sad.
I can't do anything. So unless a truck runs over them, I mean, I can't help you there. I mean, I can only do so far. Everything's in sturdy, super cardboard, bubble wrap, foam, plastic peanuts. But if a truck runs over it, a truck runs over it. I just, yeah. But
I love the fact that your packaging just reminds me of, we're going to put you in the plastic bubble. You're going to be completely protected and nothing's ever going to get you other than that car. That car got you. Sorry.
Yeah. But no, it's been quite a thing with the packaging. And it was last week, my husband said, wait a minute, I don't have to think about packaging 50 packages a day. I said, no, you don't, because we're done. So
now, this Kickstarter, like you said, is different from your other one because most of your Kickstarters has always been about your Boston Metaphysical Society graphic novels, the stories that go with them. And this is still within that universe.
Correct.
I believe, didn't you say something about when we were talking about this before, this still is part of the comics, it's just going to be audio this time?
Correct. This is a full cast with special effects and original music audio drama. It is 8 episodes long. Each episode is about 30 minutes, give or take a few minutes. And it is the first season is a complete story. So you don't get to episode 8 and go what's going to happen? No, that you get the full story. And what I've done is I kind of call this, put it under the heading of case files of the Boston Metaphysical Society. So these stories fit in between the original 6-issue miniseries.
Okay.
So we have all 3 of the original characters. For those of you who aren't familiar with the story, it's about an ex-Pinkerton detective, a spirit photographer, and a genius scientist who battle supernatural forces in late 1800s Boston. So that's Samuel, Caitlin, and Granville. You see them in the image back there with beautiful art done by Gwen Tavares. Love her art.
Fabulous.
And so it doesn't include some of the additional characters that I've added on later on in the sequels in the graphic novels. So it's just our main three characters. And I do have, one surprise visit with Thomas Edison. But yeah, this has been quite an interesting process to produce an audio drama. And huge kudos to my production team of Eddie Louise and Chip Michael, who...
We salute you!
Yes, absolutely. I brought them on board for a number of reasons. One, all of this is Eddie Louise's fault to begin with. It's absolutely her fault. Absolutely her fault.
Thank
you. She's a writer and an actor and many, and producer and many other things. She and I met, I believe, at Clockwork Alchemy, a small steampunk convention here in California, and became friends. And then when we were hanging out at the Nebula conference, and this was pre-pandemic, we were talking, she goes, "You have to turn this into audio drama. This would be perfect as an audio drama." And in fact, a couple of other people had mentioned that to me before, but I had no idea where to start. So I said, well, if I do this, you have to help. You have to be part of the production team. And so when the pandemic hit, we all took a big hit, financially, because of the cons. And yeah, sure, Kickstarter helped, but I normally only run one Kickstarter a year.
Right.
And the rest of my income comes in primarily through doing cons.
Because you do San Diego like every year.
We've done San Diego now for 6 years, I think. We've been there for 6 years. WonderCon even longer. I was at New York Comic Con this year for the first time, which was amazing. Love it. Hope to go back next year as things, start to open up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Things are starting to open up.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so when the pandemic hit, I said, I should consider pivoting the business. I need to expand it. And I was fortunate enough to get a small business grant through the state of California to help me. And with that, I said, okay, I approached Eddie Louise and her husband. I said, I have the seed money now to do this. So let's sit down. So we, worked out contracts. And Eddie Louise is officially the script editor for the series. Her husband, Chip, is our director, audio engineer, and composer. So he wears a lot of hats. He's amazing. And then we started the process. So they educated me, and I went out and did, casting notices. Auditions came in. I went through them and narrowed down finalists. And then Eddie, Louise, and I would go through the finalists and talk about them. And then as the producer and the executive producer of all this, obviously I have the final say.
Right.
So
how was that process though? We talked about the fact that you're looking for cash. You had some people. How was that whole process of being able to find the right people to be part of this?
Extremely time consuming because we got a lot of audition tapes in for this. We got a lot. Yeah, which was good because I had a lot of, people were just amazing. And, if, those who auditioned and I didn't pick you, it wasn't because you were bad or anything like that. Everyone was amazing. It's just, I've lived with these characters for many years now. So in my head, I know how these voices sound. And if your voice doesn't match what my imagination thinks, you're just not going to be a right match for what we're creating here. And we did finalize it down to Emily C.A. Snyder plays Caitlin O'Sullivan, Ryan Philbrook plays Samuel, and Martin Davis plays Granville. But yeah, narrowing that down was really tough. But one of the really helpful things that Chip did, and apparently this is unusual for audio dramas, not being a regular part of that world quite as yet. I'm just really starting to immerse myself into that. What they do as part of their process is once, we've selected the finalists, everyone comes to a Zoom meeting, and there are breakout rooms, and they all have the script. And so we rotate the actors around the breakout rooms so they play off each other, so we can see who has chemistry, who doesn't, how their voices sound together, how well they take direction, and a lot of other little things. And then from that, we were able, I was able to select the finalists, our final selection. And then the process after that was we got in almost the entire cast, all the leads and the major supporting characters onto Zoom, where they would do 2 run-throughs and then get notes from Chip. Mm-hmm. And then we would go to Zencastr and do 1 run-through, and then he would go and take that track and say, like, pull out Emily's voice and send that track to her. So when she recorded, she could hear her fellow actors and be able to record.
Right.
She could hear them. And so he did that for everybody.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, except for the walk-ons. And then they just would send in different takes, and we would select, and then, sometimes we would have to have some redos. Not because it was bad, or anything like that, but it just, the emotions they were evoking didn't quite fit the scene as it was set up. And what was great is that even we had a couple actors on board who were only on for 1 scene. We had like a harbor master and something else, and they just came because they were just having a good time. And you have to understand, this was in the middle of the pandemic, so you have all these voice actors. I mean, they were thrilled to death to actually see somebody and talk and be able to play off of, someone. And it really brought out the best. I think this methodology that Chip had come up with really brought out the best in everybody. So it was, but yes, it was very, very time consuming.
I'm sure. Because, yeah. I mean, I completely understand. It's just like, if you're a person who reads a book, especially a book that's never been adapted to something, you picture, you envision, you hear certain voices in your head. And if something changes, you're just like, that's not exactly what I was thinking that was going to be. I'm kind of like a little disjointed on this. And then as you as a creator, like, these are your babies. So I could definitely understand. No, I'm sorry. Fabulous job reading. Nowhere near the voice I need. But great job. Cool. Great. No, I'd be like if I went in. Okay, Amanda, I love you. You're sweet, but you still sound like a chipmunk that just sucked in helium. That's not actually what I'm looking for in the voice of my character. Okay, bye. Yeah. But no, I get it.
Yeah, and but yeah, it was really interesting, and there were times where, Eddie Louise and I would have a discussion. She says, "Well, do you want Samuel or someone to have kind of the classic Bostonian accent?" And I went like, "No," because I think for the average reader, average audio listener, that would be kind of distracting. But then we had for the Harbor Master, which was just 1 scene with Samuel, one guy came in and he was from Boston, and he used a Boston accent for that particular character and for that 1 scene, and it just nailed the scene, and it just gave it such flavor and grounded it. And I'm going like, okay, we got it. This guy, I want this guy. I said, I've been thinking this thing, but I think for this scene, this guy and what he's doing would be perfect.
Yeah. Now, of course, we're sitting here and we're talking about it's an audio drama. It's an audio drama. There may be people out there who have no idea what an audio drama is. Would you care to explain what an audio drama is, my love?
Sure. Think of those old time radio plays when you just had Oh yeah, there's HB. HB, sorry, got distracted. HB plays Thomas Edison.
Awesome.
Yes. And he just did it was so fun working with him. I actually met him when he came to help out when I was at New York Comic Con for one day, and he just charmed he charmed everyone at the table. It was great. He came in character. It was wonderful. But yes, it's different than most, say, an audiobook, because an audiobook, normally you have one actor reading all the parts. There are exceptions to that for those books that come from, say, like the Star Wars universe, where they have a bigger budget. And then often you'll might have more than one actor. You'll have special effects, you'll have music, but that's someone who has money behind it, because it's expensive. It is very expensive to produce just a plain audiobook, like a regular 300-page novel with one actor reading it. I mean, that can cost you, up to $2,500 or more. I mean, it is not cheap.
I like him.
Yeah. We do too, actually.
I can already tell just by the way that he mentioned this stuff. He's such a sweetheart. I can already tell just by the way how he types. I can tell this.
But yeah, just imagine, like, if you close your eyes and you put in your earbuds and you turn on the story, and you're going to hear, like with Boston Metaphysical, which is this. The office is out on the wharf. You're going to hear wharf sounds. You're going to hear seagulls. You're going to hear water splashing. You're going to hear people walking on wood as opposed to cement. You're going to tell when they're inside as opposed to outside. And so it's immersing you in a world in an audio style as opposed to a visual style. So your brain is going to come up with the visuals. And, Chip, having heard, a number of clips now coming through, and I know he's finishing up the first episode this weekend for me to listen to. And yes, it does take, once you get the first episode done, the rest are going to go a lot more quickly, because we worked out a lot of stuff that he's no longer going to need to worry about, and just go on from there. But yeah, it's just immersing yourself in a different kind of world. And for those of us, I use audiobooks whenever I'm traveling, and definitely when I'm doing cardio at the gym. I mean, this is a great place. This is like, hey, here's your 30-minute cardio right here. And you have 8 cardio sessions listening to this audio drama.
I would guess, like, the best way to really explain it, if somebody doesn't understand, is take a show that you watch. Now just play the sound.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. You're going to get all that ambiance noise. You're going to hear everything. You're going to hear the different actors and everything. And then your mind gets to envision and picture everything. It's a great way for people to start actually using their imaginations again, too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
good thing I'm getting all 8, huh?
It's the difference being is when you write it, you can't write in the visuals because no one's going to see them. So you have to do this blend between auditory and exposition, and you don't want to be overly expositional because that's just boring. But yeah, you have to have a happy medium between that, so people can visualize in their head what's going on here, and being immersed in this world in a different fashion. And podcasts and audio dramas have gone up and down in popularity for many years. And I think what really struck me as how powerful and entertaining could be is, it's about 5 or 6 years ago, I'd be driving back late on a Sunday night from San Jose, from Silicon Valley or Big Rock, whatever it was back then. They keep changing the names. And for a 2-hour period on the 5, I could get through the AM radio station this radio play. And some were new and some were old that were done, 80 years ago. And I'm going like, oh my God, this is like so entertaining and making my drive so less boring. And, I mentioned this to my husband, and then of course it was like, well, why don't we just buy audiobooks? Like, well, yeah, duh. Okay, let's do that. But it just really struck me how, that was a great way to entertain yourself when you've got a long drive or, like a commute or sitting on a bus or on a cardio machine, but it's just, it's a great way to relax and be entertained. Particularly, I think for those of us who I love to read, but I just don't have a lot of time to do it. So that's why I get a lot of audiobooks now. Mm-hmm. Because, listen to it in the car or at the gym.
And of course, with this, a lot of people, if people go over to your Kickstarter, which we can go ahead and bring that up real quickly. Wow. Which there you are. Look, my God, you have such great looking hair in that. I just wanted to let you know.
That's the few times I get the hair and makeup done is when I do these videos.
It's just fabulous. But like a lot of people are going to be like, okay, so what is it? Obviously there's going to be the ability to be able to have it downloaded, get it sent to you so you can just listen to it.
Correct.
But your rewards also include CDs. And isn't one of the rewards actually has the digital graphic novels that go with it? Yes.
There is a cool flash drive that'll have an American Clipper ship on it if you scroll down some more. That art was done by Alejandro Lee, and there's our wonderful cast.
Hi, cast.
And there's HB. Explain all that. Yeah, that's our flash drive. The round thing. It's a wooden flash drive, and I kind of liked it because it sort of looks like it might come from a ship. I realize it does not come from a ship, but it's wooden. It's like round and it's kind of cool. So I said, okay, let's do this cool flash drive. And then so people can just have the cool flash drive and either, put it in their car or put it on their MP3 player and just plug in the earbuds. Also, we have a 5-disc set jewel case. Because, you got to love that art that Gwen did.
Oh my gosh, so, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I did not want that to go to waste at all. Lettering was done, by the way, by Troy Pateri, my usual letterer for the graphic novels. And then, yes, if you're new to the series, you have the option of adding digital versions of the graphic novels or physical copies. And the cover you're looking at now, we redid the cover for the original 6-issue miniseries. For the Source Point Press wanted to do a second edition and put a new cover on it. So I hired Roberta Ingranata to do that. And she does Doctor Who right now, by the way. And it turned out great.
Sorry. I can't. I'm bad. I'm such a nerd. My bad.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I don't remember that cover. And I have the 6-issue miniseries. So it's like, I don't remember that cover.
Yeah, well, it's a brand new cover. It was in previews, I think, in September. And it'll be in stores in December. But yeah, that's the new trade, second edition cover.
She looks very, like, did you ever watch like the X-Men cartoon or read the old X-Men comics when Jean Grey starts going into like the Dark Phoenix saga?
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah.
Kind of looks like she's like, okay, next person to mess with me, I will go Dark Phoenix on you. That's what she looks like right there, which is really cool looking, especially with the whole like the fire under the skirt billowing it out and then like the fire coming out of her hands. That's bank. So you could definitely tell Roberta that she did a fabby job. Not that she doesn't already know this.
Yeah. No, she's a lovely human being. Great to work with. And then of course we have the 4 sequels available, of course. And
I own it. I own it. I own it. I own it. Like you're bad for me. You know this, right? Every time you have a Kickstarter, I'm like, yep, here we go. But this is the reason why I own this stuff, is because you are so talented. Okay.
Thank you.
This is where I'm going to tell you people, this is why, whether it's a graphic novel of hers, just a basic comic of hers, whether it's going to be these audiobooks, there's nothing that Madeleine doesn't do that she doesn't give 255% of her attention to it. And she goes all out. And when she creates, she doesn't just create a story. She creates an entire world with characters that are complex, like that you would find in drama series on TV during prime time. She creates this beautiful world as she mismatches all this, fantasy with history and paranormal and steampunk. And it's a world that you absolutely can see in your mind, and you know that it could have existed, and you could actually envision yourself in there interacting with these characters. And that, I think, is what makes you an incredible creator, is because you have so much detail within the story and the backgrounds, and you pick the right people to help express your vision that you have for these characters and everything. And I think that's what makes you absolutely fantastic. And I think that's one of the reasons why myself, along with many other people, gravitate towards your work.
Well, thank you. I've begun to realize that I have a knack for picking the right partners. And that, I think, is a skill, unto itself. Finding, the right people to work with. And it all started off with Emily Hugh for the original 6-issue miniseries, who did a fantastic job, and helped launch the world before she went on to bigger and better things, which I'm thrilled for her. And then Gwen came on board also through a mutual friend, and the segue worked out beautifully for me. Gwen was a little bit older than Emily. And Emily tended to make the female characters look young. And after everything that happened to the characters in the original 6-issue miniseries, I mean, they grew. They went through a lot. And so when came on board later, the characters had clearly aged, and they should have, because they changed. They grew. They weren't the same people. And that's reflected in each of the sequels. Scourge the Mechanical Men is a Granville and Tesla story, primarily. And that was just a lot of fun because I wanted to put those two guys in the same room. But then in the Spirit of Rebellion, you really start seeing the growth of all the characters, after what happened with the shifter in the first 6 issues. But yeah, Gwen has really been knocking it out of the park. And I guess she can't take many jobs now, just because she's, she and her husband are raising a one. I think he's one. I think William is one now. I mean, she had a baby in the middle of the pandemic. It's like, oh my God. Because we're already talking about the next graphic novel and what's going to happen. And, I've got to go finish. I am so behind on everything. But yeah, I'll get back on track.
You always do. And I think it's really cool. Look at this. Look at the magnets. They're so cool.
Yeah. And
you come up with some of the coolest stretch goal rewards I have ever seen, just so you know.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the two there, obviously the one of Caitlin, that's taken from some of Gwen's artwork. And then the one on the right with the American Clipper ship, that was also done. Alejandro Lee did that for me. He's a good friend. He's actually enormously talented as well. So he's become my go-to guy for this, but only when he can squeeze me in, because I know he's busy. So it's like, do you have time? If you don't, let me know. We're good. But yeah, he's just amazing creative.
Very.
So yeah, we made the first stretch goal of the digital wallpaper So we've got that.
You're not that far, if I'm correct, from the next
We're
one.
about like $800 from the next one. Yeah.
And 5 days to go. Woo!
Yeah, we have 5 days to go. It's been a real interesting run. Like I said, it's a very, we mentioned before we started, being in a different category has been a very interesting dynamic for me. It's different than being in the comics category. And also another thing, it's under my corporation heading. It's under Queen of Mercia LLC and not under Boston Metaphysical.
So when you tell me about it, I always go to your Kickstarter after you tell your story to Kickstarter, and I always type in your name, and I couldn't find the Kickstarter because you did it under the LLC, and I'm like, fine, I'll just type in the title, find the title, and I started typing in Boston Metaphysical, and then it popped up. I was like, who's this? I just thought I find that kind of amusing.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I tried to announce it. If I had known I was going to incorporate like 3 years ago, I would have had time to get, people would know, and it would have filtered through, and it would be more, But I mean, this all came up like last year, and then my lawyer said, if you're going to do this, you really need to incorporate, and I agreed. So we incorporated, but yeah, if you look in the little contact, it says, Queen of Mercia is, Boston Metaphysical. And it is like, hey guys, it's me. It's still me. It's always been me, but I had to go do it this way. So yeah, I think some people may have been a little confused about that. And so
I just thought it was so funny because I'm like, why can I only find the other Kickstarter? Where is her Kickstarter? Because it's just one of those things where, like, I always go, what is it? Because, there's many Boston Metaphysicals out there. And a lot of times they'll show me, like, because when I was originally typing it, it'll show me all the graphic novels that had already been successful. And I'm like, okay, so I just went so I slowly typed it, and I finally saw the audio drama, and I clicked on that, and I was like, Queen of... Click. Oh, it's still her. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's all me. So
but
yeah,
no, it was a 200 IQ idea to do that. Very smart.
But yeah, no, we had to do that since I was hiring a bunch of actors and production team, and it was time to incorporate. So we did that. And got that done earlier this year, I don't even remember anymore. I mean, the last 2 years have just been one big blur.
It's a blur. It's like it's been put in a blender and mixed around, and it goes somewhere, and it's within there. We just don't know where there.
Yeah.
So of course, with 5 days to go, there's the big push. So of course, people, if you obviously, this is something we'll always tell people, if you can't back it, which we completely understand, please share it, whether you have social media or just tell a friend about it, because sharing is caring. And sharing really does, believe it or not, so many people who don't think that they're going to get funded, when they share it out and they tell friends and they ask people to share the link, they find out that more and more, that there's one person becomes 2 to 4 to, it's that thing that you learn in business. It's like anytime you can spread the word, it reaches out to other people that you may not know who it may touch.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't back every friend of mine's Kickstarter. It's not humanly possible. I don't have the budget. I have my monthly Kickstarter budget,
right?
And I try to help out in other ways. Sometimes I can do a review for them, over at Fanbase Press, or obviously share through social media, or do plug them in an update, through my Kickstarter. I do a lot of cross promotion, and people know that. But just as an FYI, if you're watching, it's like, oh, maybe she can, we can cross promote. It's like, yeah, that time is done at this point. Unfortunately, I start scheduling cross promotions before we even launch, and I either contact people or they know I'm going to launch, and they say like, hey, like Nathan Luth, who just did Impure Blood. we knew we were going to be crossing paths. And so we just talked and said like, hey, let's cross promote. And we're like, hey, yeah, absolutely. Cause we have similar fan bases. But yeah, we reached out to each other, weeks before either one of us launched.
Right.
And I make up a whole schedule, make sure everyone on the schedule gets promoted before they end. And so, yeah, it's all very structured.
But no, I get it because, I, like you, I know so many creators, there's so many people out there with Kickstarters. And even if I did just the $5, it's like, that adds up after a while. It really does. I work at a McBurger Doodle Taco Bell place to make a living. I don't have that kind of a budget. I don't, which is why I'm grateful that I do get to have this platform. And even if I can't back it, I still get to help get the word out. And I really enjoy being able to do something like that.
No, which I really appreciate it. And
I really appreciate you always contact me. You always do. I as soon as I see a message from you, I'm like, oh, it's time to set up a podcast.
Well, it's like the only time I get to talk to you because I haven't gotten out to Middle America yet for a con.
You flew over me, kind of, if you were going to New York.
Definitely flew over you. I don't know when I'll be doing that. I've already sketched out next year's cons and where I'm going to be and which ones. My husband doesn't do all the cons with me because, quite frankly, this is not his gig. But he does help quite a bit. And he has regular panels at WonderCon in San Diego. So he's always there with me. I think he does Rose City because he likes doing Rose City. That's a great con. And actually hoping to do Denver next year. We have relatives out in Denver. So we kind of work that all in together with the Denver
convention
trip.
And family time.
Yeah. And then the rest I do on my own.
All right.
Which is, I was so fortunate when I did New York that, let's see, Emily, who plays Caitlin, was there to help me on Friday, and then HB came on Saturday, and that just helped so much because I sold out. I had nothing left by Sunday morning, and Emily would go on like, "Have you eaten?"
No.
Have you actually eaten? And we're like, I don't remember.
I don't think so. I've actually had those experiences where like it's been like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday show. I'll get to Sunday. So when was the last time you ate? I think it was Wednesday before we left for the show. Because but the nice thing is for the most part when it comes to these conventions, at least it's like this. You go there and you'll see people that you've seen before. It's like family and it's like this big support group, Oh, are you by yourself? Here, let me help you. Let's do this. Have you eaten? Things like that. Yeah. It's always nice.
In New York, I was so lucky. My neighbors on both sides of me were totally awesome women. And they said, "Are you here alone?" And I said, "Yeah." And they both had partners. One had their sister and one had their buddy or co-creator with them. And I said, "Yeah." They said, "Well, if you need, take a bathroom break, just let us know. One of us will just come and sit." And so I did take advantage of that with, not overdoing it. And it's important to make friends when you're at cons, particularly with your neighbors, because I do a lot of them alone, and some are fine, like the small steampunk conventions. That's not much of a big deal. Because they're very easygoing and, you get to, I really enjoy them just because you get a good chance to talk to everybody and hang out and sell stuff all at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of it is interesting to see the different dynamics from a big show like San Diego or New York or C2E2 or DragonCon, and then you get to some of these smaller shows, like the ones that I run, like Gem City and Appleseed and things like that. And both shows have their pros and cons and their differences, but they're both so much fun to do because of the differences between them.
Yeah. I mean, I personally like shows that are between like 50 to 60,000 people. And the reason for that is, one,
She doesn't have to take anything back home.
there's that. But I work within a niche, you know, because steampunk, alternate history is a subgenre of science fiction. And so, I mean, it's not everybody's thing. And I get it. And so I need a large enough population base so there's the people in there who I can bring to the table and introduce them and, you know, to the world. And so at least they know that we exist. And whereas in 2 small cons, I don't have the population base to work from. Right. And also about that size is really comfortable for attendees because they're not shoulder to shoulder.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And they actually have time to talk to the creators. It's a little leisurely. New York was limited attendance. So I think they only had about 50 to 60,000 people. And so many of the attendees told me how much they loved that, because before it was 150,000 people and they were literally, you know, shoulder to shoulder fighting to get through Artist Alley and other places. And now it was busy, but they could talk, they could walk, they could, you know, it was way more comfortable, I think, for everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, limiting the shows, I think for me has worked out in many ways.
Well, like I said, everything you touch is gold. You have the Midas touch.
Well, yeah, it didn't start out that way. It was a long earned process.
I'm not saying that it wasn't, but like I said, you are extremely talented. I mean, and look at all the things that you've done. I mean, you've produced, you're a writer, a comic creator. Now you're doing audio dramas. I think you worked in television at one point, or something was supposed to be about television.
I came from a screenwriting and TV background. You know, I've had a few things optioned, nothing produced, but that's pretty normal.
But what I think really helps you is that you never pigeonhole yourself as this one thing. You go and you try new things, and you really put the effort into it, and people can see that. And I think that's why you have such a great fan base.
Well, really yeah, the fans, the backers, Boston Metaphysical simply wouldn't exist without them.
No,
it just wouldn't, because creating comics and creating audio dramas is expensive. And, you know, you can't create in a vacuum. So, you know, so here we are. And the Kickstarter platform and the backers that, you know, I've met through there, it's been an amazing experience. And I can't thank them enough for allowing me to do what I do.
Thanks, guys. You're awesome. Every last one of you. So I would say that, you know, 2021 has actually been pretty cool with this being the second Kickstarter of the year.
Sure. Yeah.
So what does 2022 hold for you?
Sleep, I hope. No, I have to definitely reorganize my life here, because I've been spending more time, you know, doing producing and doing paperwork and all of the back end stuff for the business to grow, and not enough writing. And so I need to really go back, and I need to reconfigure my life so I can go back to writing, quite frankly. And you may or may not know this, but I was hired to write a story for Lady Mechanica.
From what's it, Joe
Benitez, yeah.
Joe Benitez. Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. So
dude, that's awesome.
We've agreed on the basic premise of the story, but as you know, they just had a very successful Kickstarter. They're up to their necks in fulfillment right now. So, you know, when they get back to me, because we have to, you know, finalize, you know, the outline and things like that, you know, I can start writing on that. But I'm very excited. I love the story I'm doing for them. Marsha Chen and Joe are amazing people. I'm really looking forward to this, and also looking forward to getting out the next Boston Metaphysical graphic novel to Gwen, who I think, will be ready for it probably early next year.
Let's go, Gwen!
Yeah, no, she's been great. Yeah. And I got to get back to writing some of the novels. So I have.
Didn't you say you had like this novel trilogy you were working on at one point?
Yes. I actually finished the first one, and that's edited and ready to go. But I decided that I want to finish all 3 of them before I release them. And I have some ideas of how I want to package it. And I found an artist I really like, and hopefully he'll be available to do the cover. And he has a really interesting style. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, there may be a Kickstarter for that at some point.
It wouldn't surprise me any if there was.
Yeah.
And if there is, I'll be looking for that. Hey, Amanda, guess what? Yeah, right there. Got you.
But yeah, I really want to get back to that because that takes place during what I refer to as the House Wars, which is my equivalent of the American Civil War, and is about 35 years prior to the original 6-issue miniseries. So, obviously Samuel, Caitlin, and Granville, they're not in it at all. But there are younger versions of some of the older characters. And if you've read any of the short stories or novellas or Storm of Secrets, the first prequel novel, you'll hear references.
Storm of Secrets is so good.
Thank you. Of the main characters in the House Wars trilogy is Beatrice Wellsmore, who is the head of House Wellsmore during the House Wars, and you hear about her in A Storm of Secrets. She's referenced, and you also meet her for the first time in a novella of mine called Steampunk Rat. And then you meet some of the other great houses of, how a lot of this all began. And yeah, it was.
I love prequels. I really do. When they're done right, which you do them right. And I'm sorry, you have learned this when it comes to you being on my show. I praise you. That's just the way that I do things. So, but no, it's very interesting because even, we've seen prequels, no matter what the genre is, that it doesn't feel like it should actually be a prequel to what you've already created.
Yeah.
Versus yours, it's still the same world. It's just different people, different stories, something else to get immersed into and to get attached to other people. And then when you get to see that link between that to the other one, you're just like, oh, Easter egg, yay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Easter eggs. And the 2 main relationships in the novels, which of course is totally off topic of the audio drama, but who cares? And is also an airship captain by the name of Gwen Warwick. She's a pilot, and she's a designer of airships. And it's essentially it's about the relationship of these 2 women, and they're not mother-daughter at all. I mean, we're talking about, a woman who really doesn't acknowledge her place in the world to an older woman who's all about structure and society and how those 2 worlds collide. And so, yeah, I wanted to write a story where one of the main characters was a woman of a certain age and not just, your usual hot young thing that so many people write about.
And then, of course, to wrap things up again, here you are, another Kickstarter out. This one is called the Boston Metaphysical Society, the Ghost Ship audio drama. This focuses on the 3 main characters from your graphic novel series, Samuel, Caitlin, and Granville.
Correct.
And what you've done is like you said, you guys went ahead and you did all these background noises. If they're at the harbor, you're going to hear the harbor noises, the seagull noises. And it's another way to really get immersed into this incredible world that you have created.
Yeah. And like I said, big thank you to my production team. And of course, the fabulous actors who just really, gave 110%. They were wonderful in bringing this to life. I think people are really going to enjoy it. And we do have 2 small excerpts on the homepage if you want to take a listen to them. So you can, the first one is just a small introduction. It's from the first scene in the first episode. It has Samuel, Caitlin, and Granville in it. And then the second one is when Caitlin and another character, Jimmy McLaren, are singing the Bard of Armagh. And there is a reason for that. I can't give it away because
spoiler.
It would be a spoiler, but it starts.
Will it work?
Off. Yeah.
I want to see if this works, or if it's not going to. Oh, I have to go to a different page. Hold on. I think I could do this though.
Oh, you're going to try to play it?
Yeah, I am. Of course I am, because I'm goofy like that. Let's see. Go here. Go here. Go here. Share. Tab. Bam. Here. This is the first one, not the spoiler one.
Welcome to the Boston Metaphysical Society Kickstarter to produce our new audio drama, The Ghost Ship. We hope you enjoy the following audio clip from the production.
Time for me to be heading home before Ma thinks I'm off cavorting with the devil.
Your mother still thinks you're working as a maid?
Yeah, it'd be better if she don't know I've taken over Dad's old job. She still blames you for his passing, Mr. Hunter. Now let me be off. Oh, man. Oh, I feel so dizzy.
Mrs. Sullivan, are you all right?
Oh, there be something in the air. Pain. Anger. I can feel it coming like a storm.
Something's going on outside.
Oh.
Look, at the end of the wharf, that ship crashed into the dock.
The crew may need help. Come with me.
The sails look as if they've been shredded by a giant claw, and the deck is covered in seaweed and barnacles. If I didn't know better, I'd say it'd been sitting at the bottom of the ocean.
But where's the crew? I don't see anyone on board.
There's no crew, gentlemen. That be a ghost ship.
Thank you for listening to our excerpt of The Ghost Ship. Please feel free to check out our reward tiers and pledge today. Thank you in advance for your support.
Dude, that was totally awesome.
No, yeah, the singing of Bard of Armagh, there's no spoilers there, but it starts off rough and then gets beautiful at the end, and there's a reason for that, which I'm not going to tell anybody because that's the spoiler. But it's just beautiful. Emily and Ryan Hoyle, the 2 characters, are just wonderful together.
But guys, if you were unsure until I played that, now you should be sure why you should go ahead and back this. And like I said, if you need graphic novels, she's got rewards for that too. Plus, dude, those USB things are big. It looks something right out of like what is it? The National Treasure movies with like Nicolas Cage in them. Looks like something he would have found that has to help him to get to this point, to the next point. Like they really do look really cool, and I think they're fabby. So
yeah. No, I was happy to find those.
So of course, is there anything else that you want to tell anybody else who is either watching now or will watch this in the next couple of days?
Please pledge while you can. And if you can't pledge, please tweet, share, repost, all that fun stuff. Because you never know who's out there who might be interested. And I'd love to make this particular stretch goal soon, because I have another surprise stretch goal after this I'd love to get to. We'll see. But, once again, thank you to everyone who has already pledged and shared and posted. It is much appreciated. So we can keep moving forward and producing more Boston Metaphysical stuff.
Yes. And we want more. We want so much more. And of course, everybody, if you need anything else, you're like, well, I'm not sure. Dude, if you like the show Penny Dreadful or The Irregulars, or you're into steampunk or historical fiction or alternate history, paranormal, demons, ghosts, great writing, excellent character building, and excellent world building, trust me, this is going to get your attention. From whether it's going to be the audiobooks, or if you go and you check out some of her other stuff on any of her other social medias and you grab a graphic novel. Boston Metaphysical Society is such an amazing immersive world that it doesn't matter. It really does pull you in. You can, when you, like, I don't know you guys, but like I could hear and I could feel the shaking of the building when the ship crashed, and I could feel that, like, I was already getting immersed into it, and that's just a little clip of the beginning. So trust me, guys, you really want to go ahead and help support and do anything that you can to get your hands on this. I got it. I'm getting it. I'm gonna listen to it. It'll probably be the only, because I don't even listen to the radio anymore. So this will finally give me something to do when I travel to and from the conventions and stuff. So I might have to contact you and be like, do you have another one? I worn mine out. But no, and of course, huge thank you to you, Madeleine, for, of course, contacting me and wanting to be on the show. I always feel so privileged and honored when you reach out to me, knowing that you still like to come on here. I really do.
We have a lot of fun, and I think you are my last interview for this Kickstarter, which is kind of a nice way to end, because it's like we always have a good time, and it's just it's a really nice way to do my last interview. And I do a lot of these interviews.
You do a lot of the interviews, yeah. Trust me. I follow you on social media. If I happen to be home and I catch you, hey, I was on this show, hey, I was doing this. I try my best to make sure that I get it retweeted out there, because I want you to have all the success you possibly can.
It's much appreciated, Amanda.
And yeah, we do get along, because we always get to talk about our puppies before this show starts. We're always talking about our puppies. But thank you so much. True. And guys, make sure that you check her out. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram. She's on Twitter. Go to the website. But most importantly, make sure that you check out the Kickstarter. And again, the name of it is the Boston Metaphysical Society, The Ghost Ship Drama. And if you want, I'm going to be, for anybody who is out there still in the chat, here is the little itty bitty link that you could click right on there in the chat, and it'll take you directly to the Kickstarter. And of course, that link will also be in the video description right here on Twitch. And when we get this downloaded and upgraded over to YouTube, it'll be over in the links also in the description of that video as well. So with that, thank you so much for joining us. If you guys want more AGP, we're also everywhere, including our new TikTok and Reddit pages. So check them out, and we'll see you all on the next one. Bye.